Proud to welcome everybody to IBEW Local 103 and to the industry's premier jointly administered electrical training center. And I'm wearing my only green tie that I own today on this auspicious occasion of celebrating the passage and the signing of the state's new climate and clean energy law. So let's I'm so glad to welcome and recognize our partners in the labor movement. And if I miss anybody, certainly you can hit me up later and I'll buy you a beer or something. Our partners in the labor movement, the climate community, and certainly our friends in government, the three pillars that hold up and deliver on the Massachusetts climate promise. We're joined by key allies from the building trades, utility workers, the steel workers unions, the plumbers. Frank Callahan's here, Brian Doherty from the building trades. I know Steve Finnegan and John Bonapani from the United Steelworkers are here. From the IBEW's District 2, Mike D'Amico and Dave Keating are here. Tim Fandel, Jimmy Vaughn from the teachers. From the plumbers, my favorite teacher, Beth Contos, is here, my good friend. I'm glad to welcome you all. And certainly Ryan Murphy from Climate Jobs Mass. Has really done a great job working and keeping labor positioned and updated and informed throughout the entire legislative session. So thank you, Ryan. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give a quick shout out to my industry partner across the table, Kristen Gowan with the Electrical Contractors Association. With Kristen, it's a true labor management partnership, and it's very much appreciated, Kristen, wherever you are. Thank you. But I also want to recognize Labor's very own climate champion, the Mass AFL-CIO President Chrissy Lynch. I really have to say that she has provided so much leadership in bringing people together to the table that want to be heard on this climate issue, and really helped us get this bill across the goal line. So thank you, President Lynch. Along with strong leadership from the House and the Senate and the administration, a special welcome and recognition to our friends in government. Our great friend and leader, Speaker Mariano, is here. I'd also like to welcome Energy Secretary Tepper, Labor Secretary Jones. She never misses an opportunity to come and be at a union hall, especially in IBEW Training Center. So thank you, Secretary Jones. Climate Chief Hoffer, Chairman Roy, Chairman Barrett, Rep. Haggerty, and our great friend, IBEW brother, Senator Paul Feeney is here. Thank you all for being here. I also want to recognize Lisa Whelan from National Grid, Joe Nolan from Eversource, and also with us, the Governor's Commission on Energy Infrastructure, Siting, and Permitting, and of course, our amazing governor herself. It's been said that this is the most exciting time in history to be an electrician since the invention of the light bulb. And of course, that makes it an exciting time for IBEW 103 and our nearly 2,000 registered electrical and telecommunications apprentices that get their electrical expertise and their training right here in a modern 21st century electrical training center. And to my apprentices in the room, I see you. Now let me hear you. Are my apprentices here? Where are my apprentices? Let me hear you. Come on. Round of applause. Many of whom are up here with me. But to my apprentices, this bill has been passed, it's signed, and it's celebrated with all of you in mind. You, your instructors, and the electrical workers across the Commonwealth will benefit from this bold climate action and the strong industry standards and worker protections that this bill possesses. Massachusetts is once again leading the way in the region's clean energy industry. With this new legislation, we will streamline the way we site and permit wind and solar and energy storage, the overall electrical infrastructure. We're setting the stage to fast-track these clean energy projects that will power our state for generations to come. And we're creating thousands of family-sustaining jobs. In fact, family-sustaining jobs is just another way of saying good union jobs. And for 125 years, union jobs have set the standard and given us a roadmap for providing families with stability and security. And union apprenticeships, like this one right here, are pioneers in workforce development. And nothing prepares an electrical worker for the skills needed in clean energy career like an apprenticeship in the IBEW. And if you need more evidence of our commitment to prepare for the clean energy transition, just take a look outside these doors and you'll see what we've already started. 25 years ago, Local 103 recognized the inevitability of the energy market shift away from fossil fuels to more sustainable, non-polluting, renewable energy. And since that time, we installed the City of Boston's very first wind turbine. At 150 feet and 100 kW, it provides power directly to this training center here. And we've received a significant grant, thanks to the Mass CEC, if anybody's here, to replace it and to add an additional training tower next to it to train our 10,000 members and our apprentices on wind technology. Our turbine's high visibility location, obviously right across from the expressway, has turned Local 103 IBEW into the de facto ambassador on wind technology. We've installed 330 kilowatts of campus-wide solar power that's coupled with 300 kilowatt hours of lithium-ion battery storage. We've installed 20 direct burial pole lights with internal power cabinets at their base, which store power provided from a wind turbine and a solar panel on the top of them. Each one of them have no external power to them, and they're completely independent from the grid. And they've been kept our parking lot lit for 20 years. We've installed an ice bear cooling system to help our energy consumption, to keep it low on some of the hottest days of the year without sacrificing air conditioning comfort in our buildings. And just recently, we finished up our installation of 60 new Level 2 and Level 3 EV charging stations in our parking lot for the use of our members, our staff, and our neighbors here in Dorchester. And now electric heat pumps are the center of mind as we've developed an intricate apprentice training curriculum to support the demand of residential electric heat and air conditioning. And to add an exclamation point to our commitment to the Clean Energy Center training, we've just started a brand new clean energy pre-apprenticeship geared toward recruiting more women and people of color into the trade from the City of Boston. And with that, I want to say thank you to our Governor Healey, who is a dear friend, and she's the Commonwealth's biggest clean energy advocate. I want to recognize her bold leadership and her unwavering vision. She saw the potential in tackling climate emissions head on, not just for the health of our planet, but the health of our industry and the people in it today and tomorrow. And for the good paying union jobs it creates, and for lowering energy costs, for struggling families. Governor Healey, your belief in this work has brought us to this incredible milestone. Friends, please give a warm round of applause and welcome to our Governor, Maura Healey.
Well, thank you so much, Lou, for your comments and for hosting us here today at Local 103. It's an incredible facility, lots of incredible work going on here, and it's great to be back here with you and the team, Lou. Looking out at the room and those behind, seeing all the apprentices who are going to help build and operate our clean energy future in great union jobs is really exciting, and so much more to come. But thank you, Lou, for your words. Look, this is a really big day for Massachusetts. This is a day that in years to come we will look back on and say, wow, that state, we made something really big happen. Something really big happen in a critical point, not just for the Massachusetts or the region's economy, but for this country's economy, for our country's energy independence, for the need for residents and businesses to see lower heating and electricity costs, for the work that we need to do to address climate. And this is incredible, though I'm not surprised, because I know in Massachusetts, we're about teamwork. And when everybody comes to the table and plays their part and does their very best, we can get great things done. Today is a great example of this. This is a really, really big deal. So I want to acknowledge so many who helped make this happen, our tremendous colleagues in the legislature, and somebody who's been a true advocate and leader on all things climate and so much more, Speaker Mariano, who didn't have to travel too far. This was a stop on the way up into the office. You could have walked here. Thank you for your leadership and partnership. Thank you to our chairs, Chair Roy, Chair Barrett, for sticking with this and really delivering an awesome bill that I had the privilege of signing. Our conference committee member, Rich Haggerty, Rep. Haggerty, Senator Feeney, who we know is a labor champion. I have to give a special thanks to Chrissy Lynch, because Chrissy, under her leadership, the AFL-CIO, really took this on. And she was somebody who understood that we could have a clean energy future and do what we need to do there while also creating great family-sustaining jobs. And, you know, it wasn't easy, as you know, to work through that transition, because we had a lot of people working in a lot of trades that we're going to have to reorient. And, boy, have you just brought everybody along, Chrissy, and shown us what a win-win this can be for everybody. So credit to Chrissy Lynch and the AFL, representing hundreds of thousands of workers in our great state. I want to thank members of our administration who spearheaded this work. I get undue credit for the work done and the leadership and the vision of folks on our great team, and that starts with Rebecca Tepper. You know, probably a year, 18 months ago, Rebecca said to me, we got to deal with permitting and siting. We got to put together, I want to put together a commission of all the stakeholders. I want to get us all in a room working on this and come up with a plan to make this go. And I think a lot of you commission members, thank you so much for your willingness to serve. When you were probably first in the room with one another, you were wondering how the heck this was ever going to be accomplished, right? But I just want to thank everybody for staying with it. This Commission on Energy Infrastructure, Siting, and Permitting, one of the things that is leading to the great results today. And I want to thank Secretary Tepper for her vision in making sure that this was done and seen through. She's joined as well by Undersecretary of Energy, Mike Judge. As noted, our Secretary of Labor and Workforce Development, Lauren Jones. Our Climate Chief, Melissa Hoffer, first in the nation. Maria Belen-Power, who heads our Office of Environmental Justice and Equity. That's a first, too, for the state. In addition, we are joined by Representative Dan Hunt here this morning, and members of our Department of Public Utilities, including our chair, Jamie Van Nostrand, Commissioner Stacy Rubin, Commissioner Cecile Frazier. Thank you for your work. Again, this commission, it was put together with leaders from across the state. We had unions, energy companies, utilities, municipalities, environmental justice advocates, climate activists, and we gave everybody a 6-month deadline. 6 months you have to get something back on my desk, and you guys delivered. Thank you. Forging consensus, providing recommendations that were really instrumental in shaping this bill. The legislature then worked very thoughtfully with dedication and passed a bill that delivers the bold change that we need. States across the country are wrestling with these issues right now, trying to find the best way forward. And in that race, Massachusetts is first. As I said, the results of this are transformational. This bill cuts away the red tape that has held us back for too long. It clears the way for us to ramp up clean energy production from generation to transmission to affordable access in homes and businesses. It makes sure that as we expand energy infrastructure, we're creating good-paying jobs along the way and supporting all energy workers in this transition. And it makes sure that we're lowering costs for consumers at every step, from project approval to a new discount program for both low-income and middle-income consumers. And it also makes it easier for communities' voices to be heard. Instead of a multi-track, confusing process, we now have one efficient, inclusive, streamlined process with real community input at the outset and, importantly, real timelines to get stuff done. This bill not only transforms siting and permitting, it also brings the benefits of clean energy directly to residents in our state. It expands access to electric vehicles and charging stations. It expands access to clean heating options for consumers. It makes it easier to build solar and expands access to community solar energy. And importantly, it enables us to work with other states to buy energy, to procure energy, which is going to make it better for everyone in the region. It also fosters innovation and a culture where new ideas can flourish by investing in sustainable technologies. And that goes hand in hand with our wider economic strategy. This legislation also syncs with and is part of a historic global shift that Massachusetts is leading. A few weeks ago, I was able to sign the Mass Leads Act, the Economic Development Bill. And one of the centerpieces of that are huge investments to make Massachusetts the global hub for climate technology. We're number one for innovation, and we will be that green innovation lab for the clean energy revolution. Our Affordable Homes Act, thank you again to the legislature, syncs with that because that's legislation that does a lot of things, but it also invests hundreds of millions of dollars in sustainable, energy-efficient homes, affordable homes. So we're lowering costs, we're connecting residents directly to clean energy. This isn't just about passing a bill, it's about making a strong commitment to a thriving clean energy economy, delivering climate justice for our communities, lowering costs for residents, creating good jobs, and growing our economy. And we'll forge a path for the rest of the nation to follow. I want to thank everyone who came together to make this day possible. We've got work to do because now we've got to implement it, but we know what we've got to do, and I know looking at the folks around the room, and again, we have all stakeholders represented, and everybody's going to have to do their part. But when we do that, we are going to see great things happen for our state and our region. I'm now going to turn it over to our great Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs, Rebecca Tepper.
Thank you all so much for being here today. I was thinking about how apt it is that we're here in the UAW building. You know, I have said many times, IBEW, yes, thank you. Not so great with the acronyms. But I have said many times that the heroes of the clean energy transition are the electricians. And they're being trained here today. So really happy to be here with all of you to celebrate this day. I know many of you have spent a lot of time waiting for this bill, and we're super excited to be here today to help us move forward with this clean energy future. I do want to take just a moment to extend my gratitude to our dedicated partners in the legislature. Chair Roy, Chair Barrett, Speaker Mariano. This would not have happened without their tremendous leadership and cooperation, and it's always a joy to work together, so thank you. Also happy to be here. You know, Massachusetts is a unique place. We're all sort of rowing in the same direction on climate, and I think we all have a tremendous amount of gratitude in that regard. And you look around this room and you see there's labor, there's union, there's business, there's educators. We're all here, and this bill shows that our collaboration is working. I also want to recognize the Commission on Energy Infrastructure and Siting and Permitting and the Legal Advisory Committee. Many people in this room have been working on siting and permitting issues for years. So we all know how impressive it is that this diverse group of people came together from municipalities, environmental justice organizations, utilities, agriculture, housing, and real estate all came together to make this happen. You know, this commission met 13 times for hours on end, and the Legal Advisory Committee was meeting once a week for months. And all of these people who did this have regular jobs and have took the time for the benefit of all of us to come together, work out differences, hash this out, and to come to a place where They made excellent recommendations to the governor, so I just want to thank everybody for your service on serving on those committees, and we'll be leaning on you in the implementation phase as well. I also want to thank members of our team who really led this effort. The governor said she gets credit. I also get credit, but the people who actually worked super hard on this were Undersecretary Mike Judge and Johannes Buchanan. I'm a bit of a broken record on talking about how great my team is, but I really do have the best team. And, you know, Mike chaired every single commission meeting. He brokered important compromises, and JB really helped us take this from idea to reality. So thank you both for that. So siting and permitting reform, the linchpin to clean energy transition has been our #1 priority from day one. And we're really proud of this effort. So many people with different interests, but share goals coming together to make this all happen. So the result of this compromise is a balanced legislation that will get clean energy built on a faster timeline and bring communities together in a meaningful way. Because we all know that the heart of the clean energy transition is people. People in search of good jobs, lower bills, and healthier communities for their kids. And this legislation moves us closer to these shared goals. We're gathered here at the IBEW because the transition to clean energy is creating thousands of union jobs. So many residents are passing through these very doors, trained and ready to work on clean energy projects. Homegrown solar, storage, and offshore wind built by Massachusetts workers will get us off unpredictable, expensive imported fossil fuels and move us closer to energy independence. I'm also really proud of the work and the important wins for environmental justice in this bill. No longer will communities be surprised by infrastructure coming into their neighborhoods. Residents will be involved early and often. Large new projects in environmental justice communities will undergo an analysis to make sure that the community is not overburdened with infrastructure. And a new fund will ensure everyone who wants to participate in the siting process is able to do so. So these are just some of the important provisions of this bill. We've also made it easier to buy and charge your electric vehicle, improve the efficiency of your home, and we'll also be examining how the clean energy transition impacts our fossil fuel workers. So as many of you know, I have dedicated much of my career to keeping energy costs affordable, and this role is no exception. And that's why I'm particularly proud, as the governor mentioned, that this new law allows for a discount on electric rates for more customers who need it. But we aren't going to stop there. Over the next few months, we will be developing a plan that focuses on energy affordability, a plan that will consider financial impacts of our decisions, maximize our existing programs, explore innovative financing options, and ensure that every customer benefits from the clean energy transition. Now, these are pocketbook issues, and we're committed to bringing the new clean energy solutions to everybody at an affordable price. That's a core value of this administration. Climate change is here. Clean energy is our affordable path forward, and we're more committed than ever to make that happen with your help. Thank you. I also have the pleasure of welcoming Speaker Mariano, who, as many of you know, has been a clean energy leader for many years, but way before I got in this position. And we are so lucky to have his leadership. He made this bill happen, and we all really appreciate his leadership.
Thank you, and good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here in this training center today and see the faces of some of the young apprentices lined up against the wall. I don't know if that means anything. They're all lined up. Because you guys, this is all about you. You may not realize that now, but at some point you're going to say, boy, was I born right. I caught a wave that this country probably has never seen in its history. And listen, truth be told, we're here today because of a lot of what Lou enumerated in his remarks. A lot of things that you folks have already done, which I didn't understand one of them. And thank God that we have a couple of bright guys who've been able to figure this stuff out, because it was left to me, we'd still be using candles. So this is a bit out of my realm, but I really want to thank a couple of people. Particularly, I want to thank the governor, because, and she's going to laugh at this. So on July 31st of this year, I made a phone call to her, which did not make her very happy. But I did say to her, I said, with your cooperation and help, we will get this done. And through a lot of ups and downs, we're here today. And I think we wouldn't have been able to accomplish it without the cooperation of the Senate and the Senate President, Karen Spilka. It took a meeting of the minds to realize we each have our priorities, but we're moving in the same direction. Not as directly as we would like, and, you know, I'm sure the senator feels we're not moving as directly as he would like. But that being said, we found a place to meet, and it was with the help of the governor and the secretary in defining those things that need to be done immediately, that's going to have the most impact on our economy, the most impact on the jobs as we transition into a new labor market, which you guys have the foresight to have predicted, and I think it's getting closer to fruition with every signing of a bill that we do like this. I've done 3 of these now, and I can remember going to the governor and begging for money for offshore wind and having a sympathetic ear, thank God, in the lieutenant governor, who was already involved in this way beyond my level of expertise. But we're here today, and it's only forward. It's only forward. This makes a big, big commitment to getting things up and running. You know, my relationship with the secretary began when, in my office, I begged her to up the bid on the kilowatt hours, because I felt that if we were going to be a leader, we should be a leader. We should do as much as we can possibly do. And we are on that road right now. And it's thanks to the leadership of these 2 guys that we're here today. There's no other shortcut. They stayed on it. They're through, I'm sure Jeff's sick of listening to me about the pazienza. Have patience, have patience. And patience is what got us here today. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I want to congratulate all of you. All of you who worked on this. I didn't do much except maybe crack a head or 2, but
I'll show you the scars.
but anyway, it is an honor to be here, and I just want to thank everyone, especially the governors. And I don't know who I introduced, so everyone can talk now. Open mic night.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for that wonderful introduction. No, I have to say, I'm truly pleased to be here, and I would suggest that probably many people are surprised that we're here, but it's to celebrate a real momentous event. And as I look out in this room, I see so many people who spent time with me trying to educate me on these issues. There isn't a person, if you didn't meet with me, would you raise your hand? It's incredible, the level of talent and that we have in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is why we can get things done, because there is such tremendous talent. And I do want to point out a tremendously talented gentleman over there, Glenn Jones, who happens to be a constituent of mine from Franklin, and he's one of the instructors here at this center, and he constantly reaches out to me about the importance of what we're doing and what this work means. And I want to say, make no mistake, we are here today because of our shared and unwavering commitment to the Commonwealth's clean energy system and future. In light of recent events at the national level, this takes on a new level of gravity. It is at the state level that we must continue to push forward the necessary clean energy policy to fight the negative effects of the climate crisis. And I am so grateful to Speaker Mariano for giving me the opportunity to participate in this legislation. I did not know much about energy and environment when he appointed me to that role, and I said, why on earth did you pick me? And I'm so grateful that he did. I'm so grateful for his leadership, his commitment to the environment. I am grateful for his knees that he sacrificed in the fight for offshore wind. He has scars to show. It's a very long story, but you have to hear it. And the amount of work that went into this climate bill is staggering. You heard the governor and the secretary relay what is in this bill, and it's incredible that goes into it. The many bills filed by the members of the legislature, the governor's siting and permitting commission, led well by, there he is in the back, Mike Judge. He deserves a medal. Talk about patience. And I also have to say, Governor, your audible that you threw with the closeout sup really was, I know you like sports references, but that was an important moment. And, we got the message. Message was delivered, and hopefully you're comfortable and happy that we were able to deliver this for you today. The coordination and collaboration with the executive branch under the leadership of Secretary Tepper, the Clean Energy Transmission Working Group from the 2022 legislation, the EV Interagency Coordinating Council, the GSEP Working Group, the Grid Modernization Advisory Council, and of course, I can't say enough about the thoughtful and insightful contributions by Senator Barrett, the co-chair. I don't think anybody thought that we could get together and get along on this, but we did, and I really value his input and leadership on this issue, and as surprising it is, we got this over the goal line. So it's essentially, this bill makes thoughtful, measured changes to all aspects of the clean energy future, and it helps ratepayers by dealing with the rising costs, and it's a great opportunity for Massachusetts to reclaim and assert its leadership in the clean energy environment in the nation, and we're going to continue along that path. And with that, it's my great honor and privilege to introduce my partner in crime, Senator Barrett.
Well, doesn't Massachusetts do this climate stuff right? Huh? Tip of the hat to Governor Healey, to Secretary Tepper, to Undersecretary Judge, Assistant Secretary Buchanan, to Speaker Mariano, Chair Roy. Special shout out to Senator Cream and Senator Tarr, the Senate partners on the conference committee, and to Senate President Karen Spilka, who, displayed some real guts when the odds for a comprehensive bill seemed bleak. And of course, to the grassroots citizens, many of whom are here today, who stepped up when the rest of us were almost too tired to. Thank you very much. Listen, without a doubt, this law is going to make over the state's approach to climate change. But so too, in a very different way, will the new U.S. Congress and the presidency of Donald Trump. This new statute is strategic and did anticipate, in important respects, the sad result of the November elections. So we need now to be very strategic in the way that we implement and the way that we think about the toolbox we've set up for ourselves. It's too early to predict the result of the head-on collision between state climate policy and Washington's. But here's the thing. There are, as we know, multiple pathways to a clean energy future. And the superpower of the law we're celebrating today is its breadth and its sheer versatility. If climate bills were gadgets, this one would be a Swiss Army knife. When the fossil fuel interests lock up one tool, we're going to just flip open another and keep going. Here's an example. A lot of finance professionals are predicting that electric power infrastructure will be the rare climate priority that unites Trump Republicans and progressive Democrats. If they're right, great. Massachusetts will be in the catbird seat with these siting and permitting reforms. But what if Trump and his people choose a more drastic course? What if they sandbag federal improvements to the grid? That could happen. Then we move to Plan B. We lean into the language in this bill that authorizes special infrastructure partnerships with other northeastern states and with Canadian provinces. If we have to map out a different road for Massachusetts and New England and the Northeast, we will. More on versatility in the legislation. Judging by the way Tesla stock has gone straight up since Trump's victory, we can say that the death notices for the EV market are premature. Still, what if the Trump team stymies dispersible of federal monies for installing chargers on interstate highways? Then we go to town with a dozen independent EV provisions in this law, and we put electricians and the rest of the building trades to work setting up chargers in the spots where Massachusetts residents actually need them. I reference, among other things, on-street parking for people who live in apartments and condos in cities. EVs aren't just for people with their own driveways anymore, not with the technology we can employ with this legislation. We should be very pleased that we've got a set of counter policies with which we can counter anything the feds throw at us when it comes to electrifying transportation. And listen, if the Trump people take away the federal subsidies for buying EVs, thanks to this statute, Massachusetts people continue to get a break, right? Because unlike California, we did not let our state-level incentives lapse. Instead, we extended them in this new law. That's foresight, and I thank everybody in this room for helping us get there. One more example, and this is key. If Trump's team tries to argue that Americans must continue to pay for unneeded gas infrastructure alongside needed electric infrastructure, Massachusetts, thanks to this legislation, can now make sure that the gas system contracts as the electric system expands. Because building out both systems at once would do a number on family budgets, and we intend to protect the middle class. This legislation is no unadulterated win. We could have taken up the long dormant effort to cut plastic container waste, and we did not. We could have curbed the rip-off of low-income households by so-called competitive suppliers, and we did not. These issues await us in 2025. But once you accept as a given the outcome of the 2024 national election, passage of this legislation could not come at a better time for Massachusetts residents concerned about climate, right? It lets us focus on the things we can control. Also on planning for the post-Trump era, which is going to be here before we know it. Special thanks, as I say, to my colleagues in the House, to my colleagues in the Senate, to the leaders in the executive branch. We've got a lot to be very pleased about. Now let's go out, be strategically nimble, strategically flexible, and get the job done. Thank you. Chrissy Lynch, I think you're next.
All right. Thank you, Senator. Thank you, everybody, for being here. This is a very exciting day. A bill signing day like this has been a vision of mine for a very long time. And I know that a lot of the union leaders and the union staff and union activists in this room have heard me talk ad nauseum about this over the years. You've probably been quite annoyed by me at times, but it has all culminated in a very special day that, to the chair's point, I hope that we can build off of in the next session. I want to thank you, Lou, and 103 for hosting us at this incredible facility for such a historic event. I am proud to represent over 800 local unions and nearly 500,000 workers from every sector of this Commonwealth, including thousands of people who operate the traditional energy sources that have lit and cooled and heated our homes, our offices, our hospitals, our schools for generations. Thousands of people ready to build, repair, and operate the infrastructure needed to make us energy efficient and climate resilient, and the potential to lift up thousands of good, family-sustaining supply chain jobs by getting the critical parts needed for this industry built and made here in Massachusetts. If you can't tell, the labor movement is at the forefront of this latest energy work, and we are ready and we are chomping at the bit to take on more. There is no worker shortage in our construction, our utility unions. In fact, the lines to get into training centers like these are through the roof. Our training centers like this are the best in the industry. The most up-to-date training methods and technologies that are committed to career-long learning, the safest, the most diverse workforce available, and workers that have the economic stability to invest in our communities and stay here in Massachusetts. This facility here right now is a perfect example of that. We have 40 of these across the state. We spend together with our contractor partners, many of whom are here, and I want to thank you as well. We spent over $60 million a year jointly to fund these incredible training centers. Organized labor is committed to figuring out the right solutions for workers, communities, in our shared environment. And I also want to deeply show my appreciation to the environmental allies who are here and who have stood with labor on making sure we are rejecting the false choices that you can have only good environment or good jobs. I say that we can have both. This is why we created a department at the AFL-CIO and within the Massachusetts labor movement dedicated to ensuring that workers are centered in how our state addresses the climate crisis. We want to be intentional to ensure that we are growing and diversifying the middle class as we fight climate change, doing them together at the same time. I really want to thank Speaker Mariano, Chair Roy, and all of the House leadership, Senate President Spilka, Chair Barrett, and all of the Senate leadership, labor's leads on ensuring that we are fighting climate change with labor standards, Senator Feeney and Representative Decker, for sharing this goal with us, for sending the governor a bill that helps our state fight climate change boldly, that also supports growing and diversifying the middle class. The Healey administration has been an incredible partner to organize labor here on this issue, making sure our state's investment in decarbonization and resilience support good union jobs. I want to thank you and your entire team. I'm not going to name everybody because there's a lot, but we are deeply, deeply grateful for this partnership. We know it takes a team, and we are really pumped about the team we've got with this administration, with the legislature, with organized labor, and with our environmental friends and all of the stakeholders. So thank you very much for joining us here at this beautiful Union Hall. Come back anytime for a field trip. They're actually pretty fun, right, Lou? Yeah, we'll do a tour. We'll do a tour, and I'll give it back to you, Gov, for the signing. All right.
All right. Many thanks, Chrissy. And again, big thanks to Lou and 103. And with that, let's go sign a bill.